Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. I can hear you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So my name is Solomon Twaga. I'm a corporate member of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, Edo Delta chapter. The paper today is titled "The Menace of Cooking Gas Explosion in Nigeria: Profiling Ways to Tackle It." I want to appreciate the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, Delta Edo chapter, for taking the lead to facilitate the utilization and safe handling of cooking gas, most especially in this part of our dear nation, Nigeria. Like he rightly said, not quite long, about 2 years ago, precisely, the workshop was organized by this great chapter at the main auditorium of Oil Refining and Petrochemical Company. And the subject was focused on penetration of LPG in rural areas. And thank God it was anchored by our fellow in the house, in the person of Engineer Williams. And I was also one of the keynote speakers in that workshop. It was very, very interactive, and we learned a lot from the paper presentation, and people shared their opinion on the subject of discourse. I want to appreciate the leadership of NSCHE, the chairman, the ESCO, our fellow, our corporate members, and also student members. You're all welcome. I believe this paper is timely, owing to the background of the recent explosion in Nigeria in recent time. In recent time, we've witnessed several gas explosions, not just in homes, but also in gas filling plants and also in gas dispensing centers. And this has become a cause of concern to Nigerians because we all know the devastating effects of gas explosion in Nigeria. So objective of this paper, one, to identify the causes of cooking gas explosion in Nigeria. My chairman, sir, to identify the causes of cooking gas explosion in Nigeria, to recognize the negative impacts of cooking gas explosion in Nigeria. Then the third one, to know the properties of LPG and how best to handle it in domestic and industrial settings. Chairman, please, can you go to the next slide? So we are considering, okay. So cooking gas explosion has become a very tragic accident in Nigeria. When it happens, many families are devastated and traumatized. So cooking gas explosion has caused a lot of harm to many families in Nigeria because many are devastated and traumatized when it happens. And it has become a recurrent decimal in Nigeria today. Now, the spark in cooking gas explosion in Nigeria in recent times is becoming alarming. It's becoming troublesome. People are beginning to be scared of using cooking gas as their major source of domestic fuel because of the explosion. A lot of persons are beginning to develop phobia in the use of cooking gas as their major source of domestic fuel. You will bear with me that almost every state in Nigeria has gotten a fair share of cooking gas explosion in recent times. Almost every state in Nigeria, we've recorded incidents of gas explosion in the north, in the southwest, and east across the length and breadth of Nigeria in time past. Between 2010 and now, the number of gas explosion from gas plants and domestic kitchens, in short, they are uncountable. Now, the properties and investments worth millions of naira are destroyed, and many lives are rendered incapacitated. Properties and investment worth millions of naira are destroyed, and many lives are rendered incapacitated. Even human lives are not spared in most cases. We've seen series of deaths in most of our gas explosions. Some persons were hospitalized, they stayed in hospital for months, some for almost a year. Some persons died during the course of the gas explosion as a result of severe burns. So these are some of the unpleasant happenings that happens when gas explosion occurs. Someone please, okay, cooking gas is a flammable gas that has the potential to create a hazard. So statistics shows that several gas explosions that occur in homes are caused by mishandling of gas appliances and ignorance or the conscious neglect of warnings by gas users. Statistics have shown, myself, I've carried out a statistic on this in Warri and its environs some time ago. I wanted to know why the occurrence of gas explosion, most especially in this environment. And I've come to discover that many of our gas users are ignorant of what cooking gas is all about. That's why they don't know how to handle gas appliances like cooking gas, the gas cylinder. They are ignorant. So ignorance is one of the main cause of gas explosion, one of the main causes of gas explosion in Nigeria today. Now, therefore, it is imperative to understand the properties and safe handling of cooking gas, both in domestic and industrial settings. It becomes very, very important to understand the properties, because when you understand a thing, you will better be informed to know how to go about handling that thing. So understanding is very, very vital, because it will aid how we go about handling our cooking gas appliances. Now, this paper seeks to address the menace of cooking gas explosion and possible ways to tackle it. The next slide. So, but before then, let's look at the background. We can't talk about the menace of cooking gas explosion without knowing what cooking gas or LPG is all about. Same as the next slide, sir. We can't talk about the menace of cooking gas or LPG explosion without knowing the background of what LPG is all about. In this paper presentation, I'll be interchanging cooking gas and LPG as I proceed on this presentation. Now, LPG or cooking gas, as the name implies, is a byproduct of crude oil and natural gas that is rich in hydrocarbons. It is an odorless, non-toxic, clean burning, and an environmentally friendly fuel with almost zero level of pollutants. The reason why people are going for LPG is because it's environmentally friendly and it is gotten as a byproduct from crude oil processing. It is odorless, it is colorless, it is non-toxic, and it ensures or guarantees clean burning. Now, liquefied petroleum gas is a flammable mixture of hydrocarbon gases, such as propane and butane. The next slide, sir. So liquefied petroleum gas or cooking gas it comprises of two major hydrocarbons, butane and propane. Now let's look at some of the properties of LPG or cooking gas. One, it is one of the cleanest of all alternative fuels. In Nigeria today, there is progressive increase of cooking gas consumption over the years. We've seen the rise of cooking gas consumption in Nigeria today, because people are beginning to see that it is environmentally friendly, it is safe, and it does not, cause any form of havoc when one handles it with care and applying all the necessary safety measures. Now, it is a mixture of gases mainly constituting propane and butane. In some places, it is 70% butane by 30% propane. Now, it is a liquid under normal pressure, but at ambient conditions, it is found to be gaseous. LPG is vaporous form. LPG in vaporous form is 2 times heavier than air. It is denser than air. Now, the boiling point of LPG normally ranges anywhere between -42 degrees to 0 degrees. The boiling point depends on what proportions are propane and butane present in the mixture. Now, LPG is almost colorless and has to be stored as liquid under pressure. Now, I want us to understand that the reason why we use mercaptan to mix LPG in most of our gas plants is for us to identify possible leakage when LPG eventually leaks. So mercaptan helps to detect the leakage of LPG. So when you perceive leakage of your LPG gas, you are perceiving the mercaptan that is mixed with it. and it helps to arrest possible fire hazard. Now we'll discuss more on that. Let's move to the uses of LPG. Is used for heating in rural communities. It is used for cooking. Chairman, the next slide, sir.
Sorry, hello. Hello. Can I just go to interview, please? Look, you know, you don't have much time. Just as you outlined, go to the causes. What is causing LPG leak? And then from there you can expand, because if you tell us all these things, you probably will not have the time to. So just go straight to the causes.
Okay, sir. Shema, you can move to 4.0, sir. 4.0.
Better.
4.0, yeah. Let's look at the causes of cooking gas explosion in our contemporary time. One of them is expired cylinders. We've come to discover that one of the major causes of gas explosion is as a result of expired cylinders.
We cannot hear you again, Solomon.
Gas cylinder more than 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. They still make.
Network has taken the presenter out.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sorry for that break, sir. Welding of 14 cylinders. I've seen many Nigerians taking their gas cylinder to welding workshop for passion because of ignorance. Many of them don't know the danger in subjecting their gas cylinder in such conditions, because there are specific materials that are used for gas cylinder manufacturing. That anything below that will expose the gas cylinder to explosion. Now, number 3, undetected leakage from cylinders and valves. We've come to discover that over 60% of gas explosion are traceable to what? Gas leaks. Gas leaks from gas accessories are the major cause of gas explosion, even in gas plants and in domestic kitchen. Some time ago, about 7 years ago, one of our friends that had a gas plant then, he was expecting his gas truck, a mobile truck that he rents, to dispense gas to his stationary tank. So eventually the truck did not arrive on time. The truck arrived at about close to 6:30 in the evening. So, and he begged the driver to wait till the next day before the dispensing process commenced. But the driver said no, that he wants to return back to Lagos. So that was how the process, they lined up and everything. They started transferring the gas from the mobile to the stationary tank, not knowing that there was a leakage somewhere, because the whole place is becoming dark. And within a few minutes, there was an explosion. And that explosion killed about 4 people in that gas plant, including the driver. The driver died on the spot because of gas leaks. And when it comes to, when we look at domestic use of cooking gas, the major cause of gas explosion domestically is gas leaks. Now let's look at lack of requisite knowledge on ways to handle cooking gas appliances by gas operators and household users. I've talked on that before. Then the next one is lack of accredited requalification or recertification centers. In Nigeria today, we don't have any requalification or recertification centers. A lot of persons don't even understand what requalification center or recertification center is all about. Requalification center helps a lot in checkmating the circulation of gas cylinder. Now, what is requalification? It's the process of subjecting your gas cylinder to some processes in order to ascertain the integrity or the status of your gas cylinder. In developed nations, gas cylinder are subjected to requalification after every 5 years. So you submit your gas cylinder to the requalification or recertification plan 3 times before it gets to its expiring date. But in Nigeria, there is no such center in Nigeria. And I believe that government will look into it to invest money in that direction. The reason why people don't set up a requalification center is because it's not profit-oriented. You know, when somebody brings a gas cylinder once in 5 years, how can they generate profit from it? Being that its cost is, you know, investment-wise, is very, very costly. It's capital intensive. So that's why I don't know, our external organization of Nigeria should look into that too, to see how they can set up a qualification center, because it will checkmate expired gas cylinder in circulation in Nigeria. And when that happens, it will help to reduce the menace of gas explosion in Nigeria. And Shema, the next slide, sir. We have substandard cylinder in circulation in Nigeria today. Substandard, people spray gas cylinder here and there, thinking that that will enhance the lifespan of the cylinder. You can spray your gas cylinder as you like. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference. During requalification, the internals of the cylinder is being monitored to know the level of scale deposits. There's what we call ultrasound thickness measurements. They use their machine and equipment to determine the thickness of the gas cylinder. So if it falls below specification, such cylinders will be scrapped. But if it falls within the specification range, such cylinders can be in circulation. So these are some of the things that requalification of our gas cylinder will help. It will help bring about the end of expired gas cylinders and bring indeed as expiring dates. Now, next, lack of implementation of state government master plan for construction of gas plant stations, leading to indiscriminate construction of LPG plants, especially in residential areas. We have good policies in Nigeria, but implementation is a problem. Over the years, government has reiterated the need to decommission add-on gas plants that are attached to fuel stations. But today, it has not been implemented. We still see fuel stations having gas plants attached to them, dispensing fuel and gas at the same time. If there is fire incidents in such an environment, it will bring about great disaster. Now, governments sometimes need to look critically into this aspect in planting or giving certificates approved to construct to investors, knowing where they intend siting their plant, and DPRO too need to look into this area in order for us not to have gas plants that are too close to residential quarters. Because in case of gas explosion, it can be very, very dangerous. Now, lack of adequate sensitization and workshop trainings for gas plant operators and end users. Most of our gas plant operators, they don't have knowledge about the properties of LPG. They just employ them, tell them, put the valve here, put the valve there, this and that, and they just start operating without background knowledge about what cooking gas is all about. And even our end users, I've seen a lot of airlights, I've seen a lot of educated persons. They don't even have understanding of what cooking gas is all about. That's why attending this kind of forum, we broaden our understanding on this subject matter. Now, a lot of persons take their gas cylinder to gas plant, and the gas cylinder knows the gas operator knows that those gas plants have gotten to their expiring dates. They will not even inform the people. They will still put gas inside. They will still fill the gas cylinder with gas and give same to the person, to the owner, to go and use. And it's not helping matters. It's not helping matters because they are just money conscious. They are just money conscious. One other way too, they don't have understanding of the danger of expired gas cylinder. Now let's look at some instances of gas explosion in Nigeria as I begin to round up. In 2015, Shema, the next slide, sir. In 2015, there was a gas explosion in Port Harcourt which killed 5 persons at Eluzu area in Port Harcourt. In 2019, a gas explosion at Port Harcourt left 8 persons critically wounded. The Port Harcourt Mall explosion, which forced the sudden closure of the factory, started at the kitchen section. Now, in 2020, a gas cylinder exploded in Owerri, Imo State, at a thriving filling station situated along Okigwe Road, Oji, destroying the structure there. Of course, the rebuilding cost a fortune. And in January 4, 2020, last year, there was a gas explosion that took place along Kansha Road, Sabo, Tasha, in Shiku local government area. About 8 people were reported to have lost their lives. And most recently, just this week, the 16th of November, fire broke after a cylinder exploded at a gas shop in densely populated Moshi area of Lagos, killing about 5 persons, destroying 3 shops and about 12 vehicles. These are some of the danger of gas explosion over the years. Now, the next slide, sir. So some common mistakes people do with their gas cylinders. 1, gas cylinders kept under kitchen cabinet made of wood, block, or concrete. I've met some persons, they are comfortable putting their gas cylinder in their cupboard, thinking that that will secure it in case of eventuality or explosion. And I've educated quite a number, and they've relocated their gas cylinder to the backyard or outside the house. Now, a lot of persons still have their gas cylinder kept inside their cupboard, and that is very, very disastrous. Because when you keep your gas inside the cupboard, it limits the access of air circulation around the cylinder. And in an event of leakage, and in an event of an explosion, it can be very, very disastrous. Now, a gas cylinder kept close to a generator set is also one of the mistakes people do in Nigeria. Also, painting or spraying of gas cylinders when they have reached their expiring dates is a total waste of time, resources, and energy. It doesn't make any difference. And finally, refusal to position gas cylinder in upright direction, most especially when we take our empty cylinder to the gas plant for refilling. And after the gas cylinder is filled, we lie it on the floor of the car at the boot, thinking that that is the best position. No, you position your gas cylinder in upright direction in order for the valve not to be overpressured. Because sometimes when you light the gas cylinder, it makes the valve to be overpressured, and it can lead to explosion. Now, let's look at some of the safety tips for cooking gas use. Shema, please, the next slide, sir, as I round up. General safety tips for domestic use of cooking gas. Now, ensure to check the tested or manufacturer's date on your gas cylinder to ascertain whether or not it has expired. The lifespan of gas cylinder, according to Standard Organization of Nigeria, is 15 years, counting from the tested dates. Now, it is written on the neck of your gas cylinder. You will see the manufacturer's dates, the month, and the year. So you had 15 years to read. It will give you when the cylinder will get expired. Now, this is very, very important. We need to constantly check over and over again in order for us not to forget when our gas cylinder will expire. Then number 2, then the next one, please don't the next slide, sir. Please don't dispose expired gas cylinders anyhow without boring holes on them to prevent being reused by someone else. Too many of us will dispose our gas cylinder to the dustbin. We even sell them to Merua and all that, to take them to scrapyard. When you do that, the gas cylinder will be resold to another person, and it will continue like that and may cause harm to one person or a family. So you take your gas cylinder, if you cannot bore hole on them, you take it to a welder, get the welder to bore hole on them in your presence before disposing the gas cylinder. Now, number 2, ensure your gas cylinder, number 2, sir. The next slide, sir. Ensure your gas cylinder is kept outside the kitchen. The next slide, sir. It is unsafe to keep your gas cylinder in the kitchen. It is very, very unsafe to keep your gas cylinder in the kitchen. From that picture you see, that building is about 4-story building. But what the person did there is just the best. Positioning the gas cylinder outside the house. not on the floor, because it will take, you know, spending more money to pipe it down. But he decided to position it just by the house there, just to ensure that the cylinder is not in the kitchen and for overall safety of the family and its property. Now, that is very, very good.
Please, hello.
Okay, Sam, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please, can you round up? Your time has expired. Maybe just round up in the next 2 minutes.
Okay, so the third one is don't turn on your gas cooker when you smell gas leaks. So you use soapy water to detect gas leak. Then also ensure there is fire extinguisher, dry chemical powder, CO2, or fire blanket in your kitchen. Over 80% of homes in Nigeria don't have fire extinguisher, and it's very, very bad. Now, ensure there is adequate ventilation in the kitchen to ensure correct burning of your gas, cooking gas. And also the number 6, ensure you install smoke detector in your home. Too many homes in Nigeria don't have smoke detector. Smoke detector help to identify and detect minute gas leakage and raises alarm in order for possible safety measures to be taken to arrest any form of fire hazard. Now, never leave your cooking unattended to for a few moments. That is one of the major causes of gas explosion. You are cooking in the kitchen, you forget that you've not bought salt, you've not bought Maggi, and you left what you are cooking in the kitchen. You go on the streets, and by the time you return, there is fire outbreak in the kitchen. So one must be very, very careful not to leave the kitchen environment for too long. Now, never allow a child to cook without any form of supervision. Then also install isolation valve. It helps to arrest any possible gas leakage and also fire outbreak. Then don't repair gas appliances yourself. Get a professional to do it. Then also don't tamper with the safety valve. This is very, very dangerous. Don't tamper with the safety valve. Then also use appliances that are approved by Standards Organization of Nigeria. Clean grease on burners so as to keep the burner hose unblocked in case of boiling over and all that. And also to prevent emission of people collapsing during the course of cooking in the kitchen while combustible or the fire. It brings about the emission of poisonous gases such as carbon monoxide. You know, the danger of carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas, a killer gas, and very, very dangerous. Don't use the sensitizer around the kitchen, most especially when your cooker or stove is in use. Then also finally, use of mobile phones in the kitchen is forbidden. It has been proven that mobile phone is one of the major causes of kitchen explosion. So please, let's take these safety measures and we'll see how we can reduce the menace of cooking gas explosion in our society. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.